Hi everybody, I'm Dina Soto. Welcome to Insider, where we give you the inside scoop to your community. Today we are here at the Fullerton Arboretum. So, hi, thank you for meeting with us today. So, can you please tell me your name and where we are today?
Yes, my name is Greg Pongetti. I'm the curator here at the Arboretum. I'm basically in charge of managing the whole plant collection here and the entire landscape. The Arboretum was started in the 70s. We had our grand opening in 1979. It was a joint operation between with students and faculty and staff here at Cal State Fullerton. It was formed through a joint powers agreement with the school and the city of Fullerton through redevelopment funds. Those have ran out, and now we are simply part of Cal State Fullerton. Before the Arboretum was established, this whole area was an orange grove, much like all of Orange County and the entire Cal State Fullerton campus. And the house was moved here, I think in maybe around 75 or so, but our grand opening was in 79.
So, why don't you tell us a little bit about the wildlife and the flowers?
So here we have a collection of over 5,000 different plants from all over the world. We have a lot of native plants, but then things from other Mediterranean climates of the world, and then subtropical desert regions and so on. The whole 26 acres does attract a lot of animals. We don't actually keep any animals here. They just kind of show up on their own. Birds and insects that are able to fly in are probably the most, there's the most diversity and numbers of those. I hear one singing in the distance here.
Yeah.
And then the ponds actually attract some different wildlife as well.
Yeah.
The turtles in there are actually something that has been introduced by people. They have just left their old pets there when they needed to find them a new home. So we've never actually added anything to the system, but it does attract a lot of wildlife. You know, we get a lot of dragonflies and damselflies and those types of insects that are attracted to aquatic ecosystems. The pond is used for several of the classes. Biology classes will come out and kind of study the microorganisms.
Why should people come to the Arboretum? What do you think is so special about it?
People come here for all types of reasons, whether it's to just enjoy time in nature, enjoy the beauty of the gardens, or, you know, I'd see a lot of people coming with their cameras to take pictures of birds and things. And then our desert collection and some of our native collections, I think, are very popular, as well as our Ombú Tree.
And how can students be involved with the Arboretum?
So students are involved in a lot of different ways. There's a lot of student projects that go on here through classes. There's research going on here also through like kind of individual or with faculty. And then there are a lot of volunteer opportunities for students, which we're hoping to get a lot more students volunteering. That would be great. It's a 26-acre garden, and it takes a lot of work, and we could use a lot of help. So volunteers are always helpful.
And I see that it's a really big garden. So, what is your favorite location?
That too would probably change seasonally, but one of my favorites is the Channel Islands and the Chaparral Native area. That's kind of, well, the chaparral and the coastal sagebrush is kind of what we would be standing in right now. So I kind of like that aspect of it.
Perfect. Do you want to show us around today?
Absolutely. So now we're standing at the edge of some of our California native collections. We have the chaparral area here right behind us. A little further down the road, we have a Channel Islands collection from off the coast of California, Catalina and several other islands. And then behind us over there, we have the California native meadow. So spring, I really do love our chaparral and coastal sagebrush. We call it the chaparral hill. So it's made to emulate the native chaparral that's seen in the surrounding hills around Orange County. So it's all a very naturalistic planting with all plants that are found either in the chaparral, oak woodlands, or the coastal sage scrub. So we are standing next to our flower field. This is a new project that we've been working on. We planted it with a much more diverse selection of plants.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be kind of cut flower type plants.
Yeah.
And we actually planted it with all the school colors this year, orange, white, and blue. We have 3 main rose collections. We have hybrid teas, old garden roses, and then David Austin roses.
Yeah.
They have actually just began blooming now. This is probably one of the least blooming parts of it, but they're in front of the Heritage House, and right over there, there's quite a few plants blooming. They're beautiful.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite in general?
I really like the bourbon roses because of the way that they smell. They smell just awesome. So we harvest all of the fruit that we have here that grows on the trees. We have a wide variety of fruit here, not just these Valencia oranges and avocados, but we have all different types of peaches, plums, nectarines, apples, and pears, and then a whole rare fruit orchard, which is some of the popular fruits from there are the sapote and starfruit.
So I've noticed there's some students working here, so tell us about that.
So part of our mission here as the Arboretum is a research focus. And so they are working on an ongoing research project in researching the hydraulic transportation in these avocados. And it's the faculty from campus. So now we are in our desert collection. The collections of the Arboretum are mostly arranged either geographically or taxonomically. So in this overall desert collection, we have collections from deserts from all over the world. We have a Sonoran collection, Mojave, Madagascar, and South African, and then Baja California. All different types of deserts with all different types of plants, but they all have very similar adaptations. So by seeing all the different types of desert plants from all around the world, people are able to understand the theory or the idea of convergent evolution. We have many rare plants here, and our desert collection is actually one that houses quite a few rare or threatened plants, such as the Saharan Cypress from Algeria. There's thought to be only a few dozen of those left in the wild, and they think that it may be extinct soon. But through the works of botanic gardens on a global scale, we have quite a big collection of them. They call it the meta collection. It's not only our collection, but we are one part of a meta collection, a global collection between all botanic gardens of the world.
And is there any rare tree around?
We have another one, a giant tree aloe. They call it the giant quiver tree. And that one comes from South Africa and Namibia. And it's another one that they think that there's only maybe a few hundred individuals left in the wild, and it's actually quite rare in collections as well. So with that one, we've actually exchanged pollen with a nursery down in San Diego County, and we're able to produce seed on that plant, and then now we're growing them in our nursery, and we will offer them for sale and trade it with other botanic gardens. That's just one part of our whole mission here, and that's the conservation aspect. In order to conserve plants, we hold them in our collection. It's what's called an ex situ collection. In situ would be the plants sitting in their native habitats. So we hold them in our collection. We're able to propagate them, and the idea is to make them no longer rare, at least in the collection standpoint. there was just some, there's been a lot of plant poaching going on along the California coast. If nurseries and gardens grow these plants and make them available, perhaps there would be less harvesting from the wild. So, a lot of people are very surprised when we tell them that the Ombú is just about as old as the Arboretum itself, which is just over 40 years old. It was planted here in 1979, but people are very shocked because it is such a massive tree. And the reason, or the way it became so large, is that it is not a true tree because it does not have true wood. When trees need to make their wood, it takes quite a bit of time. Every year, like the growth rings on a tree, you can see how much they grow, and it's a very small amount. Yeah. But this tree has grown very large because it's not producing that wood. When you cut a branch of this and then dry it, it becomes very, very light, and it's almost just like a rolled up newspaper. It stores a lot of water in its trunk. Around the whole Ombú tree, we've planted a lot of kind of tropical or subtropical plants to give it kind of a tropical feeling. But in fact, this tree is native to the grasslands of Argentina, the Pampas region, where it is, surrounded by grasslands which are relatively dry, and there'll just be large trees between, here and there. They call it the lighthouse of the Pampas. So we are open every day of the week from 9 to 4. We do reserve Tuesdays for members only, but the good deal is that students and Titan card holders are considered members, and they can also visit on those days. So any day between the hours of 9 and 4.
Do you guys have any events coming up so far?
We have some events happening for Earth Day, and then we'll have another plant sale in May, and then once again in June. And then we'll kind of end the plant sales through the summertime and start them back up again in the fall. Probably one of the best things to visit during all this time and through the summer would be our new flower field, because we will be planting different types of flowers in there throughout the year. It should start blooming in May, and then we're going to end it in November with the orange marigolds that are typically used during the Dia de los Muertos.
And that's it. This is Dina Soto signing off from the Arboretum. See you next time.